Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today you will see me playing my Groningen, the premium tier 9 Dutch destroyer. I've reviewed the ship already, but I have noticed that the Groningen is, I think, in a bundle right now. Actually, let me quickly check. Somewhere. Was it in a crate? There it is, it's a crate. Oh well. Anyway. Given that I have this ship and I quite enjoy the ship, let's see a little bit of action in the Groningen. How have I set this thing up? This is actually an AA build, believe it or not, because I just like to have fun. Which obviously means that sometimes you are going to not face a carrier. Well, so if you want the more general purpose build, then the elite gun operator is definitely your friend. But I don't have the historical camo on this thing because, well, it's kind of nice, but it's missing an important bit, and that's the concealment. This is a destroyer. Why am I having torpedo damage reduction? Wargaming. So yeah, this is relatively low on my priority in terms of historical camos, which means I have actually at the time sailed with one of these special camos that you get from time to time. I think it's the improved HE sort of camo, which also doesn't give you any concealment, but I had it laying around, so I was just using it. And yes, that's also where the equipment comes in, because I've actually built this thing for AA range rather than for main battery reload, which is what you would want otherwise. So with that setup, we're getting to a base reload of 1.9 seconds, so we haven't really changed anything there. But the AA now has a 4-kilometer base range on the large caliber and has an almost 3-kilometer range on the small caliber. And the Groningen gets a defensive AA, and not just any old defensive AA, it's a defensive AA3, which means this little ship is very, very nasty when it comes to carriers. And given that tier 9 can often be, or at the moment is often ranked, this ship's actually working reasonably well against carriers in ranked, because she can defend herself actually from incoming carrier airstrikes. Anyway, my commander is still pretty new, so he doesn't really have an awful lot of skills just yet, but definitely does have the defensive AA and the battlefield support for an extra consumable. Anyway, enough talking. Let's see the Groningen in action, just in case anybody wants to spend their money on, or spend their gold on a crate and try to get the ship. In the first game, I unfortunately did not manage to catch the team composition before I hit recording, but there are a fair amount of bots in here. You'll see about it, but there are player carriers in game, so that's what we're working with. And as such, I thought it was quite fun. So there's a Taiho on our side, and I can't remember what it was on the enemy team, but we shall find out. So the first thing I'm doing is I am actually, very uncommon for a destroyer, looking for enemy aircraft. And yes, most of these are bots, but bot games can be fun. I think this was like a 4v4 or something, but we'll see what comes in. Anyway, enemy carrier incoming, and yeah, sorry, I really forgot what it was. But we obviously spotted, which just suits me just fine. So we'll already start the defensive AA. And we see there's a Yugumo, and there was also, I think, yeah, there's a Benham as well. So there are a couple of player destroyers out there. And I am already starting to eliminate aircraft as they fly over. And I'm just being careful to see where the carrier is striking. But yeah, he is striking the friendly carrier, so going for the carrier snipe. Which means these 11 aircraft are now not coming back. Oh yeah, did I mention that the Groningen has an airstrike, because it's a Dutch destroyer. So that's a bot Yugomo, so it's not a huge problem. But there we have a bot North Carolina, and there's the Iowa, the last player, I believe, the 4th player on the team that we will have to deal with. So we're sending the airstrike out against the Iowa because the bot's already burning. And we'll see if we can get a fire set while we are just setting some more fires on the bot. I think we managed to get a fire on the Iowa, and he may have damage controlled that. But let's see if we can get another fire going. And the bot Iowa is already dead, so well done. The carrier is in a relatively aggressive forward position. That's one permafire on the enemy Iowa. That one's not a bot, that's a player. So what you really want to do in the Groningen is well, HE spam. It's a nasty little ship. It's basically a Friesland without a smoke, but in return she gets an airstrike, which is quite a neat gimmick. I mean, you only get one, but it's still quite a neat gimmick that you can use to do some interesting plays. And I always like interesting ships. So that poor Iowa is now not having fun and might have given up. Essex on our side has taken out the bot Amagi. We've lost one of our bot Fletchers, and the Iowa is just burning. So friendly Iowa is on the right flank. And we are actually a kill down at this point, but that Iowa is going to be going down any second now. There he goes. And that leaves 3 destroyers and a carrier. So I figured, you know what? Let's put a bit of pressure on, shall we? Because our left flank has completely evaporated. And it's entirely possible that some of these destroyers are making their way around. There's the enemy Benham. So carrier has found her. I don't have angles at that thing, but against destroyers it doesn't really make sense to use the airstrike. Carrier doesn't seem to have noticed me, but there's a Yugumo. Okay, dang it. Well, sonar up. Let's see if there are any torpedoes in the water. And I want to drop the enemy Essex, if possible. American carrier, so nasty dive bombers. But well, I'm keeping an eye out to see if there are any torpedoes in the water. And yes, there's the Benham as well, so I do have to be a little careful. Now I'm starting to come under fire from the Benham. Unfortunately, the friendly Iowa has not been paying attention that there was a Yugumo out there. And that wasn't just a Yugumo, there's also a suspicious smoke screen. So there's definitely a fair amount of opposition around here. So I figure, what is going to be the most useful thing I can do? Probably to take out the enemy carrier, because that thing can help the destroyers defend themselves and has the capability of actually reaching our carrier, who is now running away from the destroyer on his own. And yeah, ignore the friendly cruiser there sitting in the starting position. I don't think he's AFK, he's just being useless. So I am just threatening the cap, trying to distract the enemy destroyers from getting in there and from dealing with the friendly carrier and from capping us out. So I just want to get the carrier gone if possible. But obviously I am under fire from 2 enemy destroyers at this point. Carrier is backing off. Unfortunately, I don't really have the range to set it down any further back, but I am going to... I've got a carry on triple fire, so there he goes. Nice. Bombs have hit. I've lost a lot of hit points doing that, and obviously no longer threatening the capture circle, but the friendly carrier is busy dealing with the destroyer that is threatening our cap, which means that's fine. We are very slightly ahead on points, unfortunately, but the Taiho has taken out the Benham. Well done the Taiho. Unfortunately, I am now under fire from 2 Yugomos. One of them is a bot. But that doesn't mean that it's any less dangerous, really, if you're in a destroyer yourself. Because 2 Yugomos is more guns than I have. And yes, obviously there are torpedoes in the water. I did not need sonar to know this. But the carrier is back and is helping out with the Yugomo. So as long as I can still get that Yugomo killed, then I should be okay to go down, because that's an even trade. Yep, there he goes. So now, and I have been taken out by the Yugomo in return. But thanks to the carrier, really well played to the carrier. And yeah, that Wichita, I think, might have gone AFK as usual, or is just being useless, but that's now just a bot carrier. Yeah, the Wichita has gone AFK, he has been removed from the game. The carrier it now only has the bot to deal with, after I've been keeping that Yugomo busy back there and have been threatening the cap, so it couldn't join the Benham in doing anything. Carrier takes out the bot, and we win the game. So yeah, that in very, very short is the Groningen, an absolute menace against enemy carriers. How many planes have I shot down? You do get a clear skies relatively frequently in this ship, so And the answer is 31. Yep, 31 planes shot down and the carrier sunk. And I got the highest team score. Yeah, the Wichita on our side was going AFK at some point and has been overtaken by the friendly bots. The second game is a 5v5. There's a carrier, but it's a bot carrier, and it's only a Shukaku, not an American carrier, so not very dangerous. We're facing Shukaku, Hawk, Amagi, Takao, and double Benson. Now, the Bensons aren't to be underestimated, but we'll see who we spawn with, and I'm definitely going to go for the cup control in A cup, and then we'll see what we can do there. What do we have with us? That's a bot, but that's a Cleveland. Clevelands are very useful against destroyers, so I'm reasonably confident to rush up the engine boost, push into A cup, and see what we can get done there. And hopefully the Cleveland is backing me up. I mean, one can wish, right? Anyway, we'll make our way into A cup and see what we can get done from in there. And we are probably guaranteed to face an enemy destroyer. Now, not having torpedoes is a blessing and is a curse and a blessing. The airstrike is pretty useless against destroyers, but you do still have two pretty rapid-firing sets of guns. And while this thing isn't the fastest when the engine boost isn't running, and we're not alone. Yeah, we're not alone in A cup. So there's one destroyer at least in A. I do have a sonar, which is quite useful against predictive torpedoes that could be coming down this path here. We'll let the bot scout, and it's a bot cargo, but that's not the one that was cupping. There must have been something else in here. Yep, there's the Benson. I see you, Mr. Benson. Yep, I'm seeing you. You're in your smoke screen. That's a Cleveland problem. Hello, Mr. Takao. I'll drop some planes in your general direction, just while we're dodging the Benson torpedoes. Yeah, I've seen you. And let's see if we can evade all of these. We should be able to, without too much problem. Which means the Benson's now out of torpedoes. Cleveland, you've got radar. Would you mind? There's a Benson. He's out of torpedoes. He's shooting at me. Okay, we'll take care of the cargo, so the bot's out of the way. And now, can you please deal with the Benson? Cleveland, please. Benson, there, that one. Armor piercing normally is the better choice here. It's just that I've got the improved HE camo on the ship, so I'm using that. And I'm coming under fire from something else. Cleveland, please. Benson, he should be... Stop firing high explosive at these things. Armor piercing. Oh dear, oh dear. I am taking fire from the left, however. That, I think, was the Takao that has come back and is now mildly annoyed that I have dropped some planes on him earlier. Yeah, Cleveland, go chase that Benson. I'll deal with Takao. I'll need to get a little closer, though. So maybe it's time to get undetected and then make our way back into the capture circle while the Cleveland is chasing down the Benson. And then I'll help with the Takao. Because right now we're only holding one of the capture circles, and that means we are going to drop points, and that is a full health Takao. Now Takao is a very nasty cruiser, but Cleveland, you've got radar and sonar. Yes, there you go. And there comes the enemy carrier. Okay, it's a bot carrier, but hello Takao, that's a fire. Damakon? 2 fires, Damakon? Maybe Damakon? No Damakon? No Damakon. Nah, there comes the Damakon. 2 fires is valid. So already in reverse, and now we're trying to set more fires on the Takao, who doesn't have the fastest rate of fire, and he is shooting the Cleveland, which I believe has taken out the Benson. So well done, Cleveland. But now the Takao is on permafire, and there's just something cathartic about doing this. That's a double permafire. There come the torpedoes. That's why I've got the sonar running, so I see these coming from a distance. That's a triple permafire. Now he hasn't damage controlled a single fire. He's just, well, he's being HE spammed. And how does it feel to be on the receiving end of this for once? The bot carrier is still going after me, but again, it's a Japanese bot carrier. It's not super dangerous. If it was an American bot carrier, that'd be a different story. Drop the planes, but I think the Takao is turning now and is trying to get behind the island, so he's not going to run into those planes. Should have probably saved them until he was behind the island, and then used them just to shoot over the island. Oh well. There might still be torpedoes, and my sonar is on cooldown. So we'll just wait for him to come around again. I have no idea where Cleveland is going. There's nothing out there anymore. All the destroyers are dead. What are you doing out there, Cleveland? I'm trying to get into the next map by the looks of it. Takao is coming around again. Full speed ahead. And he doesn't know how to aim. That's good. That's good. I just had to avoid the inevitable Takao torpedoes. But now we're just going to be dodging him. And finish tickling him to death with our 120mm main guns. Because Takao takes a while to reload. And this thing is very maneuverable. So she can very easily kite. And... just time the reload on these things. Hawk takes him out, and that just leaves the bot carrier, who has now run out of friends. But once again, that is why I really like the Groningen, because she can, even against the cruiser, actually, and yes, of course the bot carrier is dodging the airstrike. Even against the cruiser, she's perfectly capable of defending herself. At least at long range, and the sonar makes dropping torpedoes on this thing not easy. So this is a fun little destroyer, and obviously I have the slightly memey setup here, not for general purpose, but for anti-air. Which when there's a player carrier in game, I mean with the bots it doesn't matter, but when there's a player carrier in the game, yeah. Give me more planes. Bring it on. All the planes. I'll take them. Yeah, this thing is a great little fun machine. So as usual, and I'm actually going to make a video about this. As usual, I am not telling you to buy a ship or not to buy a ship, especially when it comes to gambling crates. Gamble responsibly. Please don't spend your money when you can't afford it. But again, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. You're all grown-ups. If you have available cash, and as such, if you want one, it's in a crate. Crates are not great, crates are gambles, but if you manage to get your hands on one, it's a very fun little ship. And that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.